How are you, Mel? How's everything?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I love the hat.
Listen, I had to bring it right. I see you, dolled up on a regular basis. I couldn't come on here any kind of way.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. He's trying to fix his camera back. All right, awesome. But I love the hat. And I love the blue. I think one of my favorite colors, the blue, the cobalt blue. It's
That's a
like,
dope look.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's dope blue. It looks good on you. All right, I
Well,
see.
thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys for joining another live with Mel. We're here with Image by Jules. How you doing, guys? I see you. Hi, Krista. So while everybody is chiming in and getting ready, we have had a great week this week. I just want to do a quick recap.
Listen,
It
no,
was
you,
awesome this week.
it's yeah. Yesterday was amazing.
Yes,
Trav bought it. I was
yesterday.
like, Trav, I mean, what you set me up, Trav. How do I follow up with that? You know?
You know, you guys about to go rip it right open right now. We're about to have like a part 2 segment right now.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
To another hour. But thank you guys, that all of the vendors here, Chemistry, all of you guys that have been on the show this week has been absolutely amazing. I mean, everybody's been talking about the great content, the great information that they've been receiving, especially my brides that have been
Yeah.
out here looking at you guys. They are feeling more confident. They're ready to go forward and book you guys. So thank you for each and every one of you guys for joining and sharing all of your experience. Now that we're in here, I'm going to start off with Jules giving us a little intro, a little background about himself here, Mr. Jules.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So for those who don't know, my name is Greg Jules. It's pronounced Gregoire Jules. You know, parents are Haitian. Was born in Bahamas, spent 6 years in Haiti, and then I migrated to the States, the good old 305. Proud father of 5 girls. Yikes.
You
Yeah.
have 5 girls? Stop it, Jules.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. And
We talking
I
like grown girls? We talking like
listen.
baby girls?
Let me tell you, like I was almost, and I call fatherhood, and parents who understand, who have multiple children will understand. Like once your eldest turns 18, they're like, oof, freedom is here, right? Everything is great. So my eldest turned 18, and then I met a beautiful young lady named Deidre. She's on here watching. And what connected us was that she was like, yo, I don't want no kids. And I was like, yo, I don't want no kids. So we're good.
Right.
You know, then it was one of those, yeah, oops, I don't know what happened. Yeah.
So it was one of those like, oh,
You remember that song, Jamie? Remember that song? Remember that song, Jamie Foxx, Blame It on the Alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, she is sweet. Like, our baby girl is absolutely amazing. She's, she'll be 2 in June 9th.
Nice.
So,
congratulations.
yeah. So she runs the house, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, 5 girls. So, I got into photography. I've always been an entrepreneur. Like my grandmother in Haiti always had a hustle. Just like islanders.
Right.
Islanders basically are self-sufficient. They always got something going on, whether they're in the market selling produce or provision. They're doing something. So I get that, I guess, hustle mentality from my moms and my grandmother.
Right.
So they were always into something. I was a personal trainer. I was a barber. I was all these things. And photography happened by accident. Like I've always been into the arts. I've always been into drawing and stuff like that. But never was I interested in taking a picture. And then my sister was like, hey, I'm going to become an event planner, and I need you to take pictures. And I was like, I don't know anything about taking pictures. Well, she was like, well, you need to learn.
Wow.
Bottom line. So, and that was it, and she basically gave me my first real gig. And this was back in 2013. So, yeah, here we are, fast forward 2020, still rocking and kicking, so it's been a great adventure. Photography has taken me across the world from Greece to, it's taken me all over the place. So I'm extremely happy about that,
And I can't but commend you on your work. I've had the experience to really work with you on a wedding, which I'm hoping one of these days we get to get the opportunity to do so. But your work absolutely speaks volumes. I mean, when I see your stuff online, I'm always looking at the quality of your work, how great you focus on detail. I absolutely love you guys. When I'm telling you, when I look at photography, and we were saying this yesterday with Travis, I look for photos that tells a story, and it also get clean details, especially with the decor. Like I can see you posting your stuff, and I'm always like sending my brides, and I would say, hey, these are my top referrals, you know, that I would recommend you go and look at. And I'm always saying, like, these people do great photography. You know, the quality of the work speaks there, the passion, the drive, the ambition. It all speaks volumes into your work, and I must commend you that you've been doing an absolutely great job at it.
Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, Mel, you know, the truth is when it comes to like photography and lighting for me and capturing detail, because I think at the day, and I think Travis touched on this a little bit, the day of the wedding, I have several clients. You know, how's it going, Tawanda?
Hi,
Tawanda, how are you? So I have several clients the day of the wedding. Like my client, like if the bride and groom came through you, or the bride and groom found me, you know, however they found me. So the bride and groom is my client. That's my first client. Then, you know, my next client is that planner. You know, my next client is everyone else, the florist, the cake maker. But most definitely is my planner. My thing is I want to make sure that I adequately capture your decor, and that my photography skills don't downgrade your work in the client's budget. You know, because a lot of times you'll see the client may have spent, and even when a client say have a smaller budget, I still want to go and take that canvas and make it bigger than it is. You know, because again, at the end of the day, that's how you may get your next gig, or that's how I may get my next gig, you know. And they might, you know, I think the other thing that separates me too is like, you know, I have this thing with planners I'm obsessed with. I hate for social media pictures to be cell phone pictures. So if we have an event the day before, I'm not about that. Hey, let me post this video in my stories. Yes, I'll definitely put up some pictures in the stories or some videos in the stories. But when it comes to like the day of posting, the day after your wedding, you best believe you're going to have a gallery waiting for you for either Facebook or Instagram, where you're going to have those images ready to go, because like that's a representation of your work. You want quality, you know?
So, and I agree with you 100% on that, because a lot of times when we work with photographers, and I've had an opportunity to work with someone outside of it, and to be honest, I wasn't 100% impressed. And some of the things that you expect, you're not seeing it nowadays with the new emerging photographers, and you want to be like, okay, guys, I shouldn't be coming to you to tell you to look for certain things. These are some things that you should automatically know to do. Like, you know, don't send me 20 million photos in a Dropbox. Put a gallery together so we can go.
Crazy. So let me tell you though.
5 to 10 Dropbox folders. People.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Come on, put the thing in a gallery. Put this thing organized, whether it's from your getting ready to ceremony.
Absolutely.
Put it together so we can scroll through it. And
so it tells a story. It tells a story. Yeah, it tells a story.
It's been one of my pet peeve too when it comes to the after the wedding. I need to see something. Give me at least 5 photos to look at. Here, what you said. We need that sneak peeks. Exactly, chemistry.
But see, the thing is, the sneak peeks are like, this is the way I get my next client. That's the way you get your next client. That's the way, you know, the hairstylists get their next client, the makeup artists. We all are a team on this day. So the day after, because the wedding is hot that night. Like, we've been live, we've been posting, everything is popping. So the next day, that fire is still burning. So if you don't hit it while the fire is still hot, you've missed that opportunity. Waiting 2 weeks after the wedding to post something that happened last week, I'm already on to my next wedding. You know, so that doesn't make sense, you know? And that's what you see behind me, Mel. It's basically Exposed Beyond Photography, which is a photography workshop that I put on, and it's about, you know, taking young people, because people don't know what they don't know. That's the truth. People don't know what they don't know. People don't know that, hey, listen, giving Dropbox images for a gallery doesn't give a continued story, because they'll get out of order and all different things. So I try to basically take it upon myself to teach young and emerging. Even photographers who were seasoned, who's been doing it for a while, who started a lot earlier than myself, who may have been doing things a little old school. I'm just basically here to say, hey, listen, let me teach you a new way to use light. Let me teach you a new way to use your business. And let me teach you a new way to expose things, because what we did 15, 20 years ago may not be relevant today.
Amen.
You know? And when I came into this game, I'll be 100% honest with you. Like, I remember I reached out, you know, to some photographers, established photographers. You know, initially I was like, yo, let me run under you. Let me see what's what. Mentor me. And I mean, unfortunately, those photographers were like, nah, you're not ready. But I'm like, how do I get ready? You know, how do I get ready if you're not willing to open up and you're not willing to teach me and show me? Because my thing is, I don't believe in competition. Let me be the first to tell you that. Yeah. I don't believe in somebody can come and steal a client from me. If the client chose to go with you, that was never my client to go with. Because my client is going to come to me for a certain style, for a certain look, and that's it. Now, if it's based on price, you can basically be shopping around anywhere, then you weren't my client. If you're like penny pinching and you're like, oh, I got to save all these dimes, then we may not be a good mesh. No. But at the end of the day, you know, that's why I'm thinking like, hey, let me teach what I have in my head to basically those who are trying to get it. You know, like I don't eat meat, right? But it's one of those things where people will say, you know, you have a mean way of making some curry chicken and I have a mean way of making curry mushroom, right? Right. You can give me that recipe, right? Same thing with hair chemistry. She can show somebody how to do hair. She can show them how to stroke that curling iron and do all these things, but they can't do it like you. They can't. No one has your recipe, you know? No one has that special thing that Mel has. No one has that special thing that Greg has. We're all uniquely built to do things, and that's why I'm not afraid of sharing information, because I'm like, what end up happening is when I teach somebody something and they master it, what I then can be able to do is they'd be like, yo, you know what? I need you to second shoot for me, or I need you to go shoot something that I can't cover. Like, that's what knowledge does. You know, I don't have that mentality of, oh, let me afraid they might learn my way. And that's rubbish. I don't, you know, I don't live like that.
You know, if we're not open to mentor and teach this new generation that are coming up, we don't have anybody that can actually lead the next generation to come. And this is something that we talk about, because when my sister was on the show on Tuesday and we were talking about the platform we started, there was a reason for it. It was the same reason, is that we could not find people that were willing to open up the doors and create that platform for us.
That's crazy.
So we decided, like, okay, we're going to create a platform for others to come on here and learn what we went on our own and learn and share that experience. My staff is all been mentored assistants. Each and every one of them have reached out to me or seen me at a wedding, walked up to me and said, I love your work. I love the way you do things. Can you teach me? To this day, I even have brides who are trying to get into the industry reach out to me and say, Mel, can I work with you? I want to learn.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, sure, let's do it. Let me come bring on board. Let's teach you these things. You can't be scared people to educate. You cannot.
Yeah. Because you don't lose anything that way.
You don't.
Because what you're doing is, and it says, people will forget what you say, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And if you made somebody feel appreciated and they felt that they have gained a certain set of knowledge, that person is loyal to you. Exactly. And you can't buy loyalty. You can't. You know, so it's one of those things, like I said, I don't have that mentality that, oh my God, you know, I teach him my way, he's going to steal my business. No, you know, that doesn't bother me at all, you know?
Jules, what sets you apart from other photographers?
So let me tell you, right? Like, I am the biggest hype man all day, every day, right? So when my brides walk into when I walk into the room with my bride automatically becomes Beyonce. I don't care what she looked like, what she thought she looked like, what she felt like. But my goal is to make sure that her mood stays here. Because as you know, at wedding days, it's stressful. And brides don't remember a lot of things that are happening. So it's my job to make sure that my bride's vibes stay here. Usually the groom is calm and collective, and they're good. So what sets me apart is basically the level of service that I'm providing. You know, it's just one of those things where I'm dedicated and committed to you that day, and I'm going to make sure that you slay every single way possible. You know, whether it's with posing, I'm not that person that's supposed to say, hey, you know, oh, you don't know how to do this pose? Let me get in this corner. Let me pose for you, and now you can mirror me. You can get that. You know, I don't have that issue where it's like, oh, no, I can't pose with my hands on my hips. I got 5 daughters. You know, so listen, I'm going to tell them, hey, give them the slay face, part the
Right.
lips, open your, just look this way. I want to give them all that. I want to connect with my clients on a level where it's like, yo, you want to be comfortable. Like I'm that person where it's like, hey, you know what? Whatever I thought I was insecure about, then Greg has made me, real secure about it. So it's my level of service. It's my energy. Like this energy that you see right here, my energy stays this way throughout the whole wedding day because I'm all about getting it done.
Yes.
But, that doesn't mean that I'm a pushover and let things get done. Absolutely not. We're about business, getting business done. But it's all about the way I make my couples and my clients feel. It's about the level of service and the relationship that I have with my planners. Like most of the planners that I've worked with, it's, whatever. It's like, we're family now. What do you need? Okay, I got you. It's not even an issue at all. So it's just about keeping that great level of service, treating it more like a family and just like a quick buck, because if we work together and we work together once, I gain nothing. I mean, what? I made a few dollars, but I made nothing. But if we have a relationship where it's like, hey, Greg, let me run something by you, that's just that's what it is.
Agree, 100%. You definitely have to have that kind of connection and synergy, guys, going across.
Absolutely.
We talk about this all the time when it comes to not just the wedding planner, but your photographer, the people that are in your circle, your hairstylist, your makeup artist, because they're the
Absolutely.
first one to be around you in the beginning when you start your day off. They're with you the
Absolutely.
whole planning process. So you're in constant communication with them. So when you walk in a room, that energy needs to be there. It needs to be able to keep you calm, to keep you energetic. And I've been saying, like I was talking about this with hair chemistry, about when I look back on those little video clips of my brides, when they see their face and their makeup
and they light up.
They light up.
Yeah.
And that whole energy with them dancing and bouncing in the room is what you want to take throughout the whole night, people.
Because
from the time your photographer gets in the room with you, that energy is there.
It's true. I mean, that's what it's about for me. Like we set the pace because the first person that basically gets in the room is either going to be the hairstylist or the makeup artist. They start with that, and then your photographer comes in. So those group of vendors and creators are the ones that basically bring it in. Like we need to make sure that, like my thing is, and I tell people all this all the time, I could be having the worst day in the world.
Right.
But that doesn't matter. Like what I'm going through personally should not ever impact my clients, should not ever impact my business. And I get it. That's hard to say. But the thing is, the client hired you because you're a professional. The client hired you because you're able to separate your personal things to whatever's happening, with your business. So that's my thing. Like I keep this energy high, no matter how much I have to fake it. The energy has to stay high because if they see that there's a lack in me, then it's like, okay, they're not confident. If they see me fizzling around, they pick it up. Energy's real. Energy's real.
Yeah.
Energy's very real. So it's just one of those things where, I'm excited. I just saw one of my brides from Bahamas that I'm hoping that we still have this wedding. So I'm just hoping that this COVID releases us soon. I mean, it's supposed to be towards the end of the year, so that's what's up.
My next question to you.
Yeah.
During this whole COVID-19, how has this been affecting you and your business right now?
So the thing is, and I will say thank you to all my brides, to all my planners. There she is. There's Mimi. Yes.
There you go.
Listen, Mimi be turning the hell up on Instagram. I'll be like, yo, that's what's up. So the thing for me, and I'll be 100% honest with you, like COVID hasn't stopped anything.
No.
So it hasn't basically canceled any of my programs. And I'm grateful for my clients for being able to say, hey, let's reschedule. They'll reach out to me to make sure I'm available. They reach out to key vendors to make sure that everyone is available. So for me, that's important. But I haven't basically lost anything. We're doing a lot of rescheduling. So everything that I had pretty much from March through right now, June, has been pushed back. And most of the time, I think it's like 3 engagement shoots right now and 3 weddings, and they're being pushed back. But, at the end of the day, whatever the client wants, as long as I'm available, I'm there and we're doing it. But what COVID has allowed me the opportunity to do is get a whole bunch of stuff done, on the back end, basically like, any edits that I need to get done, keeping in contact with clients, keeping in contact with different planners, just making sure that everybody is good. Because one of the things we know, like when money's not coming in and finances ain't right, your mental state of mind matters first. So that's one of the things I've been doing, just connecting with a bunch of people. I have this thing every Tuesday where I do motivational Tuesdays and just give people a word and be like, hey guys, this is what's going on. Here's something to look forward to, and try to share information just to lift their spirits and just also to help them financially with different tidbits, because I have like somewhat of a background in like the financial affair as well. So
nice.
yeah, but it hasn't it hasn't really impacted me in the sense of anything being canceled. The key thing though is communication. Communication with the clients, communication with, just make sure that everybody knows that you are still good, you're still operational. I've been confined to the house, but I'm okay with that. I get up every morning, I make sure that my physical mind is good, I work out, spend time with the family. I mean, everything is good, I mean, I wish I was with my event planning family because it's weird being home every Saturday. When I tell you, I'm like, I'm home.
It's draining me just being here, like not getting to do anything. Last night, I literally went to my office and grabbed my personal computer because I was like, listen, this laptop ain't working. I literally grabbed my computer and everything to bring it to my home because I was like, listen, I have to get back to doing something, whether I'm doing creative stuff or just
something.
Small stuff. I have to keep myself busy because it can drain you even being at home.
Absolutely.
You may think that being at home is going to make you sleep a lot. It doesn't. It takes a lot because your mind is used to constantly going and moving. And when you're stuck and you slow down, it's like, okay, now what I'm going to do? I'm going to just sit here and relax out. Your energy and everything drops.
That's true. But that's why it's important for you to set some type of schedule up to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go have a lunch outside. Or you know what? Let me go for a walk around the neighborhood. Let me set some type of schedule to give you some type of norm during this period. And so that you can basically keep everything flowing. And like you said, with the creative juices, like the more you practice and use that muscle, the more effective and the more powerful you're going to be when it comes back, when it's game time. Because it's not what we do when people is watching. It's what we do when no one is watching that really counts and matters. So it's what we're doing now to prepare for the season. And that's what it is,
Tawanda, I agree with you. Like today I
no rehearsals.
It was Friday. I just knew
no rehearsals. It's true. Yep.
I'm not counting the days anymore. I don't know what day of the week it is. All right.
I thought today was Thursday. I was like, wait, no, is it Thursday? I was like, oh no, it's Friday. If it wasn't for that reminder I had set up, I swore today was Thursday. I was like, yeah, it's Thursday, tomorrow's alive. But that's just how much the days are just going now,
and it's going so fast. Imagine if we were like doing an everyday activity, how slow this day would be. You
tell me about it.
You're like, wait, it's 3 o'clock.
The day's done.
Like,
the day's done.
Like we have to get ready.
Yep.
But it's going very fast. All right, talk to me about your wedding services. How can brides reach out to you and book you? What your services include? Perfect.
So my wedding services, all my contact information, like if you go through Instagram, you hit contact, it'll push you over to my website, which is imagerybyjules.com. Same thing, Imagery by Jules on Facebook, Imagery by Jules on Instagram. So, typically my wedding services are, I basically have 4 packages set up. The very last package is like the super, really over the top package. So, I think I used to have it where I think years ago where the services start from like 6 hours, but then when I started and the reason I created that too was because I do a lot of yacht weddings. So it worked. But then what happens is, let's say I do maybe like 12 yacht weddings or 8 yacht weddings for the year.
Right.
They usually have like a 7-hour day. So I was like, you know what, this 6-hour package isn't working. So now I offer basically three different time slots. I have 8 hours, 10 hours, and 12 hours.
Okay.
So with Nigerian weddings and some Jewish weddings, they basically want 12-hour days. They want you there from the very beginning. And most of the times, those weddings go until like 12 o'clock, 12 a.m. Like they are all day. But same thing with Nigerian wedding, because again, you have the traditional, you have the formal, you have multiple days. So they want a longer time period. Most of my brides go with like 8 hours. And 8 hours, and like you guys talked about yesterday, 8 hours is not a bad time, but 8 hours work if you have a basically smaller wedding, wedding size and wedding party size. So that 8-hour package work. And with the 8-hour package, the first one, basically you get digitals, you'll get your digitals, you get 2 photographers. I'll always have a lighting assistant with me.
Yes.
And we'll make sure that basically we come there, we go through. Yes, Miss Keisha Williams, yes, I do have engagements in my packages. So the second package is that starts at about 10 hours. It does include an engagement shoot, but then that 10-hour day. And one of the things that I push to, that I don't know if Trav talked about yesterday, is a first look. Like I'm huge on a first look. And a lot of brides are like, oh, I don't want first look because when he walks down the aisle, I want him to cry. Listen, let me tell you this. If he's going to cry when you walk down the aisle, he's going to cry even after the scene. Because let me tell you why first looks are important. And it's both good and bad, right? So let me tell you. I get it. I get it. So let me tell you why first looks are important. So let's say, for instance, you have a wedding in fall, right? When it gets dark at about 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Right? So we're going to basically, and let's call a venue where everybody knows. Let's say if we use like the Levant, because Levant has outdoor and indoor, right? So the ceremony is at 5:30, right?
Right.
5:30 the ceremony set, and then the ceremony gets started. Now, if anything happens where we're late and they get there at 5:30, those post-wedding pictures are going to be in the dark. Now, granted, I have lights, I have everything that will make I don't, like, it's not a problem getting clear shots. But if you look at pictures during the day, and if you compare them at pictures that are at night, it's a whole different thing. And the first look, the truth is, I can get the entire bridal party shot. I can get the couple shot, the bridal party, the family shot. I can get all of those. And the reason why it's pretty important is because typically people from your wedding party, when we're doing those shots, they don't enjoy cocktail hour.
Right.
The bride and groom, they don't enjoy cocktail hour. No. Why? Because they're shooting with the photographer. Right. A first look allows them to basically go in and to mingle and to really talk with the people during the cocktail hour. That's what the first look truly gets them to do. It gives you a different feel. Now, granted, after the ceremony, we can still take pictures outside.
Yes.
In that information, we can definitely take pictures outside in the environment. But my thing is, it's a different feel. And I'll be honest with you, and this is going to sound crazy, but every Jewish wedding that I've shot, they've done the first look. Why? Because we've done weddings at the St. Regis, right? Yeah. And once it goes dark out there, it's nice, but the beach is pitch black. It's true. And I have light to light the couple, and I have the light to light the hooper, but you don't have any ambiance, so it takes away from that ambiance. So it gives you the opportunity to get all those really great shots, and it gives a different mood. Now we can take those same shots at night inside the room reveal and everything else. We can do that, but it is like me. I love light. I love outdoor shots. Right. I understand light, so I don't mind shooting outdoors when there's no light either. But it just gives you a whole different feel when you take pictures outside with the skies and with that beautiful arch that you have designed. Right. Like the darkness takes away from that.
It does. And I agree with you 100% on that, because I hear Travis on here saying preach.
It's true.
What is the truth?
It's time.
I agree with you, because you do get a lot of that photos out of the way, and during the first look, that is one of the pros about it, and I let my brides know that. Yes. Like,
so let me tell you this though. Let me tell you this. One other thing. There's one other thing that I didn't tell you. I had a wedding in Mexico, and the groom, when he saw the bride, it was happy. It was like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. It was great. This is after the first look. The minute he was at the altar and she was walking down, this man was boo-hoo crying. Like he just saw her 3 minutes ago. But he was bawling because it's different.
Right.
It's different. Like you are walking down to your forever. This is the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. This is your everything. So you think a first look's going to change that? It's different. Oh my God, I see you. Let's take some pictures. Great. But now it's real. Like when it says, oh, shit just got real. It just got. The man was bawling.
Because Stephanie, my bride, I told you, she's like, yeah, let me tell you something. I have 3 brides that now that's been like bouncing all over the place. And one of the brides, Melisa was like, Melisa, what do you think about the first look? I said, listen, I'm for it. And I'm also like, I'm old school. Listen, here's the reason why I'm like a bit old school on the part. Is because if I walk down the aisle again after he see me, he don't cry again, I'm going to turn back. That's what I told my partner. I was like,
he
if
will.
I'm walking down the aisle and I don't see them tears again, we going to turn back. But that's just me, people.
No, he will cry, though. Trust me. If he cried when he saw you, yeah, he will. If he cried when he saw you in that dress, he will definitely cry.
Yeah, because that emotion.
It's a different feeling. As a photographer, I get emotional. I'll be like, yo, this nigga's crying. I'm like, wait, Man up. Because you can't help that, because love is amazing, and you see it. And it's not just that little teardrop. It's like that whole boo-hoo crying. And I'm like, man, he's panting. But you know what? You're going to be so busy crying yourself that you're going to omit all of that. You know, you're going to omit all of that. I promise you.
I know.
I promise
so
you.
Funny. Okay, so what are the other questions I want to make sure we answer? And guys, as we're going through this, definitely ask your questions. Hi, Miss Keisha, I see you. And I love all of you guys that are on here. Thank you so much for being joining us.
Mimi, we're going to do all of that.
How far in advance do you encourage brides to book your services?
Let me tell you this. I shot a wedding on the yacht. Mimi says she want him snotty.
Exactly. Man, I'm telling you, he's supposed to be snotting all over the place.
Listen, it's coming. Trust me. So I shot a wedding last year on the yacht company that I work with heavily, right? So the couple and I stay connected, and the groomsmen and I are connected. That's another great thing to do too. Is like any photographers on here, when you walk into that room, make connections with everybody. Have them go to your Instagram and follow you instantly, and keep in communications with them. Like they stuff, comment on their stuff, do all this. So what I did, I was strategic. The guy is playing for LSU, and he's getting ready to be drafted to the NFL. Yeah. So he was lifting like 250 pounds, and he did it like 30 times. I was like, geez. You know, I said, Mike, you are God awfully strong, my brother. So he was like, Greg, thank you for reaching out. I'm getting married next year in September. I need your rates. Yeah. I was like, word, that's what's up. So I sent him an email right away. I say this, and this is the simple answer. If you love a photographer, if you love a planner, if you love a makeup artist or a hair artist, book them right away. Yes. I don't care if it's a year, book them right away, because what happens is I have a makeup artist friend, Tia. She's booked through like the whole year. Yeah. And into next year. So it's just one of those things where if you are waiting and say, oh, let me just wait. No, book that person, pay the retainer, and now at least you know you have that person booked. And if, you know, the prices change, then it's not going to impact you because you're already in contract. Yes. You know, so that's one of the things that I've had a bride reach out to me about, because I have a digital price guide, right? So I'll send them the digital price guide, and she looked at it, and it was like maybe 6 months into the year. She still didn't do anything. And my year came up. It was time for me to increase my rates. I increased the rates. She was like, Greg, the rates changed. I was like, yeah, I changed them, you know, periodically. You know, as I see the years going, if more bookings are coming, I'll adjust the rates. And the rates went up. I mean, she still ended up booking, but it was just one of those things where I'm like, yo, you know, one, save yourself time, save yourself the headache. If that's the person you really want, get it out the way right away. You know, you're not going to wait if something's on sale. If something is right in front of you, you're not going to be like, yo, I'll come back. It may not be there. Right. You know, it may not be there. So book as early as possible. 1 year, year and a half, book it.
And I agree with you guys that we have to be able to, and I've been telling my brides, they can tell you right now, if they're all in here, I've been telling them to do their research. Go on there, reach out, talk to photographers, talk to the makeup artists, get your proposal, get your, you know, get the information. Now is the time to do this. You have nothing to do. You're not at work. You're home. Do these things. Read the contract. Go through everything. Ask as many questions as possible. Because before you quit, people, and we got to stress this as much as possible, even though we're doing this pandemic right now, these brides that wedding had to be postponed are being pushed down. We're now looking at next year or the end of year. Those dates are going to be gone. They're not going to.
That's true. That's a great point.
Today, I literally had 3 consultations with brides for 2021 and 2022. I'm already booking to 2022. You understand? So this is what I mean. Like, you gotta be able to start doing your research, people. Get the information that you need and reach out to these people. It's time for you to start getting this information and book them. Find out how much you book. And that's one of the questions that you guys, as brides, should be asking. What is the deposit like to put down people today? You know, they work with you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And because that's the other thing too, is like, yo, you know, just the same thing as, you know, you said brides and couples are home right now. Yeah. This is a great time to reach out to those creatives and those vendors that you want, or through your planner. You know, it's a great time to do that, only because those planners, just like as you are home doing certain things, it's a great time to be able to talk, because when wedding season gets started and we basically are out of quarantine and we can go back to, you know, our normal days, routines, it's going to be busy. You know, yes, as soon as I get an email, I get right back to it. But you have that intimate time now to sit and talk, to review galleries. Like, you may not be able to see face to face, but we can do virtual meetings. You know, I can email you galleries to look at, and you basically, you know, can review things just to see if this style works. You know, because that's important. You have to make sure that we connect, because that's the other thing too, is like, you should only be, and that's critical. Yes. You should only be reaching out to vendors that styles appeal to you. Like, don't just reach out to a photographer or a vendor just because of the price or because of the popularity. Reach out to that person because their style connects and their style speaks to you. And that's it, like nothing else. Because one of the things that I've had an experience, and somebody asked me too, is like, hey, can you shoot like such and such? And I was like, wait a minute. You need to contact that person. I'm not your guy, because I'm not going to try to replicate or emulate anybody else's style. Like, you shouldn't be looking at what that person is doing and then trying to do it with another vendor. It has to gel. You have to fall in love with what that vendor can produce and create, so that you know, you guys can work together and you can be happy with it.
And that's what I'm talking about. Choosing the right photographer that matches your style, people, is
Absolutely.
the same as you choosing a planner that matches your style.
Facts.
Everything speaks to your style, your
Facts.
what your vision is for your wedding day. You shouldn't be out there looking at all these different things and then trying to come back and say, oh, can you do this?
Yeah.
Can you? Did you see it? I'm like, does it look like that's the person doing? Okay, then no, you ain't doing your homework right.
That's not Mel's work. I mean, what are you doing?
And I get it where people come back to me and say, oh, I had somebody show me your stuff, and I was like, wait, I saw that stuff before. And they came back to me and said, you know, I saw your work at XYZ. I was like, oh, really? But you know, you never know. You guys, you have to really do your research and find people that really fit your style. Every time a bride reach out to me, it's based on them stalking my page. They've been watching me. They love my work. They love my style. And they're already looking and saying, hey, I saw you did XYZ. I want something similar or different or better. You understand? So it's just the same way as a photographer. When you go and you're looking at the photographers, you need to see if the photographer matches your style. What are you looking for to your wedding day? When you look back on your memories, what are you really looking for?
Absolutely.
You know?
And as we talked about before, it's all about telling the story. Because one of the things, and I tell brides and groom this all the time, the truth is, you don't remember most of the things on your wedding. Like, you are overwhelmed with a bunch of stuff. Like, most of the times couples don't even really eat because they're like being pulled left and right. You know, so it's the photographer's job to go there and basically just really just capture your story and tell your story in such a way that it's going to be heartfelt, that it's going to really appeal to you and speak to you. And whether it's a moment that was candid, it captures it, it got you reliving it, you laughing, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know she was dropping like it was hot on the floor like that. You know, so it's those things. Like, I'm that photographer. Like, I like to be in the rush of the action. Like, I want to be in your face in the dance floor. I want to be, all up in your face, you know. So it's just one of those things for me that's what matters, because I want to tell that deep, compelling story, you know, because now you look at those things that matters to me, you know?
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, you never know who is really watching you while you're actually doing something as well. Because a lot of times, we talked about this yesterday, that how when you're on the job, you have to show your best work.
And look at that. Look at that. And this is exactly what Mimi just posted. This is the client from Bahamas. She says, I spoke to Imagery by Jules. I had about 4 more photographers to speak to, and spoke to 3 before him. But his vibe, sincerity, and calm booked me right away. And that was it. And honestly, and I kept asking, I was like, hey, how did you hear about me? How did you hear about me? And she was like, oh, I heard you from Instagram. And that was it. You know, and I was very, oh man, one of my really, really great photography friends are on here now too. Kanayo, he is a beast, a composition master. He is a master. And my other Nigerian brother, Ini, from Bricks Media Group, he's here as well. So that's what's up. You know, hey Khadija, how are you? So that's my thing. Like, it's important for me to, and Trav said it yesterday. And it's, listen, I'm not too good to go shoot your little uncle in the wheelchair. No, let me go shoot that uncle in the wheelchair because it might have been that uncle that basically paid for his wedding.
Exactly.
You know, you need to go out there, mingle with the people. You're not better than anybody. Like, we're all at the same level. And I think that's the problem with some people. They just feel that, you know, like they've arrived, they've made it. So now I'm walking on water. Nah, man, you bugging.
So there's one pet peeve I have. And it's been, and since I moved to Florida, I experienced this, and I want to know you guys' feedback about it. I wanted to ask Travis about it yesterday too.
Okay.
Having other people shoot at the wedding with you guys.
Yeah.
Taking photos while you guys do photos. Like, for me, I don't like that. Okay, so you mean,
so you hire me as a photographer, right? And then basically another photographer comes up and shoot it?
Yeah, like another, okay, so basically the bride hires you as a photographer.
Yes.
And like, let's say another person might invite
vendor,
their photographer or whatever to capture the whole experience and so forth like that. What's your take on that?
So listen, that is nasty and muddy, right? And let me tell you this, and let me be the first to say, because I'm a complete transparent person, right? So I have had multiple times where basically a vendor may reach out to me and be like, yo, can you go take pictures of my decor before such and such? Can you go take, and my first question to them is, who's the photographer and why aren't you just dealing with them and have them do it? You know? So, and then that's been it. And some of the things I'd be like, no, or some of the things I'd be like, yeah. So I've had it where basically someone will reach out to me and be like, yo, I want you to basically shoot my decor. I have an event. The event is set to start at 5, but I want you to shoot my decor at 1, you know? So in some instances, I may shoot that decor, right? But am I going to stick around when guests come and shoot that wedding and take pictures while there are other wedding photographers there? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, so that's one thing that I frown upon. And I tell you that in Nigerian weddings, so there's any photographers that, I have some Nigerian friends there. Nigerian weddings, the bride and groom will hire me as a photographer. The mother will hire another photographer. And sometimes the uncle will hire another photographer. I can tell you that. I've seen that, you know, where basically I've had it where basically I had to tell the other photographer, like, yo, listen, you can shoot from behind me, but I need you to get out my space because right now you're ruining what I have. And if they don't listen to me, then I'll go tell the bride, like, yo, I need you to talk to him and just let them know what's what. Because at the end of the day, his flash going off or my flash going off is going to ruin your pictures. And it's not a cool thing. You know, so doing a wedding, absolutely not. Doing a wedding, I will not do that. If I'm at the wedding and another photographer shows up, then, hey, we're going to have to, you're going to have to decide right then and there what's going to have to happen. Same thing with an event, same thing. But I will tell you, like I said, if it's an hour or two before an event starts, if somebody says, hey, listen, I want you to shoot my decor, I'll shoot the decor and deliver the information to them. And what I won't do is basically I won't post that decor because what happens too is now when that photographer posts, it's like, oh, who shot the stuff? You don't want that confusion, you know. But like if the event's happening, absolutely not.
Right. And what I tend to, and I've done it where I've asked like another photographer to come in and do decor shots. And the only reason why I would do decor shots because I see the work from the other photographer.
The level of work, correct.
Focusing on decor, but he does more of a portrait shot. You know what I mean?
Correct. And that's a good point, Mel. Yes. And the reason that point is good, it's a great, see, I think we as people have to get out of our own way. Pride. So if I'm shooting something, right, and something isn't right, I need you to be able to tell me, hey, Greg, this ain't right. You need to fix X, Y, and Z. You need to fix those things because you're not capturing it right. Me as a creative need to be humble enough to be like, yo, you know what? That's crazy that she had to shoot or that she had to hire somebody else because she didn't feel comfortable in my work. So you should be open enough to be like, yo, what do I need to do to basically better myself? And like I said, when we started, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. You know, you don't know that because we walk around here sometimes thinking that we are the best or we're the dude. And meanwhile, excuse me, your poop stinks. I'm like, bro, there's a lot of work that you need to do. But our pride and our ego hasn't allowed us to basically come down to a level when people can speak to us. Yeah. And that's the thing. We all don't know it all, you know, but that's the thing I think as a planner, if you have that relationship, I encourage you to please have that conversation. I do. I encourage you because there are some planners, and I can tell you right now, I mean, I won't name them, But there are some planners that they won't, if they know you hired a certain photographer, they'll fire and be like, yo, you need to fire that photographer because I know, and this is on the high end, I know that photographer can't capture my stuff. Yeah. So I need you to hire this photographer. You made a deposit of 500, lose it. Keep it moving. Only because, like I said, if your work, Mel, I've seen it. No false information is given. I've seen it because, like, when you listen, imagine you spent $85,000, $100,000 on the core, $85,000, and this person uses their on-camera flash, and that's the only light they're using to light a room that they spent $85,000 for.
Jules, don't get me started.
No, we need to get you started because this information needs to get put out there. That's not right. It's not right.
That you guys need
it's not right.
To really understand, people. When you're spending X amount of money on decor, you need to make sure the photographer is going to capture every detail of that decor. Listen, Facts. When I go back and look at a gallery and I can't see the decor, I'm pissed. It's a problem. That's a problem. Because here's the problem, right? So your client spent, and this is why I tell clients, like, don't. There's a few things that last forever, right? A few things that last forever. When you go to that wedding, that meal, it goes. Yes. A month from now, you have to remember how that meal tastes. The flowers are an amazing investment, but guess what? Flowers die, you know. And most weddings, at the end of the night, those flowers are donated, and those flowers are basically going to charity. Or some of those flowers, like I've seen it where a client spent at the St. Regis $200,000, like for the whole. This is for a birthday party. A bat mitzvah for Friday and Saturday spent close to $400,000. At the end of the night, those flowers were donated or tossed out. Right. The one thing that lasts is your pictures. You spent $20,000, $10,000 on a dress. You spent $1,200 on red bottoms or baggy Misas. You spent all this money, and then you want to pay me $800, $900, $1,000. You know, and you think you're going to get, like, you got a nice dress, right? The dress was nice. Your shoes are nice. Yo, listen, you know, that's my thing. I tell people, don't, like, and I tell this all the time, what's cheap isn't always good. In video, I mean, that's a whole nother topic, and that's the thing I tell people, you know, you can't. Some people, I always say this to you pay for what you get.
You pay for what you get.
Stress that enough.
Yeah, it's a fact.
It goes across the board, people. From your decor to your photography to your videography. Listen, when I come back and I look on a video after a wedding, when a videographer puts it together, and I'm sitting in the chair watching it on my 65-inch. Listen, 65. I can hear it. Listen, because I'm going, listen.
Yeah.
My fiance, can tell you.
Yeah.
Melisa be so into these stuff that when you sit back, it brings tears to my eye because I literally see what I invested a whole year of planning into. And when a photographer and a videographer cannot deliver that,
that's a problem. But let me tell you the bigger picture, though.
Energy you put in, passion you put into the work.
Yeah, and it goes to one thing, though, Mel. It goes to one thing, and it goes to the point where you need to trust your vendors. You need to trust your planner because your planner knows who can do what. And I mean, sometimes if they don't know that photographer, your planner can do some extensive research and find out what's what. You know, so it's critically important to know that, hey, if your planner says go with this person, trust it. Don't go with your cousin's uncle's neighbor because they're going to do it for like half the price or a quarter of the price as the photographer that your planner's referring. Because again, at the end of the day, you're going to get exactly what you paid for, and you can't be mad at your planner. No. You can't. Like those $30, $40, $50,000 that you spent on the core, it looks like, you know, somebody went to Party City and got some blow up flowers, and there's no even detail in them because they blew them out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not being petty, but it's
the truth, people. It is the truth, and we can't stress it enough. Like, we definitely got to be able to educate our clients, people.
Absolutely.
So give them the information that they need. When my brides come to me, I always say this, listen, I'm going to give you my top list.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm going to tell you that they're the best. I can guarantee you're going to get the quality. But if you come back and choose somebody outside of whatever firm and you ain't happy, don't come crying.
Don't come crying. And it's sad because, again, Travis said it yesterday. We can't redo this.
We can't redo
We can't redo this. This isn't I Dream of Jeannie where it's like, bing, let's do it again. No, there's no redo. You know, I mean, unless you got deep pockets and you want to redo it, hey, that's cool. Let's, you know, hire the right people thereafter. But there's no redo. You know, when you go down the aisle and this is it. You know, all those moments you're not going to remember. You're not going to remember how your husband stared at you when he was putting a ring on your finger. You're not going to remember, you know, all the celebration and the happiness. You're not going to remember that, you know? So, you know?
Who's this now saying?
This is my lady.
Some people,
that's true.
For photography and still get crappy images.
Yeah,
definitely
that's true.
Do your due diligence before booking. You definitely
that's true. Yeah, because that is true too, though. Yeah, because if you and that's why style is important. Like if you want a certain style, it's important that that person's style speaks to you. Bottom line, and it's important that you see the level in the body of work. That's my baby.
Right.
So it's important that you see that the level of work when they send you the gallery, you see all the things that you're looking for. You see a story, you know, you see all these things, you know, so it's important to do that, you know, so it's just one of those things you can't say enough. Trust the people that your vendors, that your planner refers, only because, you know, she or he knows that these are the top people and they're going to give you quality service. You know, I don't know how many times you can say that to a bride and groom, but, you know, a lot of times it doesn't register.
It doesn't register. Here's one of my questions, because my bride said to ask all of this. How many people covered the wedding with you?
So typically it's 4. Or typically it's so based on a package, right? Based on a package, you basically go in if you're hiring for a standard 8-hour day per se, right? So it will be myself, a second shooter, and an assistant, you know, and typically we'll go, and what I usually do is towards the end of the night, like once we've gotten all the formalities out the way during the reception, I usually send the second shooter home because there's no need to basically have 2 shooters shooting people dancing on the dance floor because you're going to start getting repetitiveness, you know. So once the party opens up, I'll send my second shooter away, but my assistant will still be there with the lighting and stuff like that, just to make sure that I have somebody to carry stuff around and to be able to shoot. You know, so typically it's 2 people, one with the bride, one with the groom, and we'll do it from there. But I will tell you, most of my destination stuff that I shoot, like I partner up with Any a lot, which is with Bricks Media Group. We had a wedding in Mexico. The client's budget it wasn't conducive to say, hey, let's bring 4 people to Mexico, where it was 2 photographers and 2 videographers and everything else. So we worked with the timeline. We worked on the timeline with the planner, and basically they had just the 2 of us there, you know. And the way we worked out, we set the timeline where basically at this amount of time, we're going to go shoot the groom. And this was a small bridal party. The groom had basically 2 people. He had 3 people in his room. 3 people in his room, and the bride had 3 people in her room. So we shot the groom. We had we had like 45 minutes, almost an hour with the groom. We didn't need that much time, but we got a lot of strong portraits with him. And then we transitioned to the bride and basically did the bride. As the bride was taking a break, we were able to say, hey, we're going to pause for a second. We're going to go outside. We want to shoot the decor of the ceremony. But, you know, what was critical is we made sure we talked to the planner. Before we had an outline with the planner and say, hey, listen, we're going to break here. We're going to go shoot outside. Same thing after we did all the formals. We walked around and took pictures with the bride and groom and the wedding party. Then they closed off the reception area. They kept everybody out of it. We came in. I shot photos. He shot video. And we did it. And when you look at that story, nothing was missed. Nothing was missed. You know, so a lot of times people think you need, it makes it easier, definitely, when you have 2 photographers. But granted, I can tell you it can be done with 1 photographer. Like the reason it can be done is if the bride and groom is in the same hotel.
Yes.
They're on different floors.
Yes.
And the bride don't have a huge budget. And, you know, we can basically work it out where my first plan, I may be able to basically take out the second photographer. Only if it works with the timeline. And if that works, of course, I'll have my assistant with it. But then we'll go through and we work it out. But it's about working together. Like if me and the videographer, it couldn't be done if there's two videographers and one photographer. It can't be done. It has to be 1-1.
Yes.
If it's 1-1, we start together, we transition and do everything together, and the story is cohesive. Like there's no missing point.
And that's the thing when it comes to timing and coordination. You definitely want to be able to connect your videographer and photographer together so they definitely can have some type of coordination and organization going through the whole process.
Absolutely.
Right? It's all about that, people. Timing, communication, organization. Yeah. I can't tell you enough how I am in Travis to tell you on here, and all of them will tell you on here. I have a pet peeve on that. I don't like this organization. I am very organized. I like to be on time with my stuff. I like to make sure that things have a natural flow. So, you know, because once you have that one disconnect, everything can go off back.
It falls apart.
It falls
but
apart.
that goes back into, I mean, a few components.
Yeah.
A few components impact a day. You know, you guys touched on it yesterday.
Yeah.
Like if you have a large, like I say it all the time, and brides that may be on here that are still shopping for photographers, please, if you have, I'm not saying I don't want you. I just need you to hear to what's going to happen, right? So for those who have like large wedding parties, I shoot them. Let me repeat that. For those who have large wedding parties, I shoot them all day, every day. You know, is it my first love? It is not my first love. I definitely shoot them, right?
Yes.
So for very large wedding parties, here's the issue that I've had. I've had a bridal party. It was 15 on each side, or 13, some crazy number. And during that day, one of the guys showed up. He didn't have a jacket. The other guy didn't have a pants. A whole bunch of stuff happened, right? Because you're talking about 15 people. You're responsible for 15 people. 1-5, right? Like that's a lot of people. So if one person is late, I had it where basically the groom's best man was late. He was late. So it was like, oh, what do we do? I was like, well, the show got to go on. So I started using other people's. Who are your other best friends here? And you basically start shooting those people. Now, as a result of that, if you don't hire an experienced photographer and they sit and wait, what does that do for your day? It makes you late.
Right.
It makes you late. And the larger the bridal party, the more money you're going to spend on makeup artists, hair, all these things. Because one makeup artist can't do 15 people.
Preach!
One hairstylist can't do 15 people.
You cannot.
I'm just saying, guys, like it takes about an hour per person, approximately. And if you got 15, I'm just saying, like, you know, let's be rational. All I'm saying is if you're going to have that large party, it's no problem. Have the room, have basically the right people in staff. Have a room that can fit it. Please don't go into, I'm not knocking Holiday Inn, please. I need y'all to understand, I'm not knocking Holiday Inn, I'm not knocking the little small rooms. But don't have 15 people in that room.
No.
It doesn't work. You know, get a suite, get something, get an Airbnb, get something large enough where the bride can be isolated and to keep out of y'all mess and basically be in her own space so we can shoot the bride, shoot everybody else and flow with no problems. But I've been there where the rooms...
For me, especially, because my brides come with some 12, 13, bridal party 14.
You need a suite. You need a suite.
1 minute, I want to end and come back on because every time we get on,
time
we go over an hour.
Yo, I don't know where the time went. Hey, Trav, man, thank you for yesterday.
Travis started this trend yesterday.
It's all Trav's fault.
It's all Travis' fault. I'm going to hang up people and we're coming right back. Don't go away.
Guys, come back. Don't come back, guys. Come back. Listen. It's all Travis' fault, man. It's all Travis' fault. I'm like, Trav, like, yo, when I saw that, I was in the car and I was like, Trav, I mean, bruh, what's going on? Like, I'm like, Trav, I got to do this tomorrow.
He's like, you got to do this tomorrow. He just setting this up.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
But I'm glad that we're getting this. But this is definitely something that we need to talk about, people. Because I tend to have the brides that come with the 13, the 15 in the bridal party, and those big numbers, you know. So recently we've been getting like, you know, brides that are
appreciate you, bro.
I don't want no more than 3. I don't want no more than 4. You know, but we still get those big bridal party numbers, and this is what we can't stress enough. That you need to make sure that you're asking about proper timing. Are they coming with assistance? All these different things, because once one comes, it falls off the bandwagon. Everything then spirals.
Everybody's late. Everybody's late.
Me, when I do a day coordination timeline, I send my timeline out a week before the wedding, especially to all my vendors. I have to have a one-on-one with you guys a week, especially before the wedding. to
That's
make
what's
sure
up.
that we on the same page with arrival time, set up time. If you're doing a shot list with the photographer, all this different stuff, I need to know so I am prepared myself and my team to know what to expect on the day of. So when you have these big bridal parties and you talk about your makeup and face, one makeup artist can't do 15 face people.
That makeup artist has to start literally at 3 a.m.
Thank you.
3 a.m. I mean, that's the bottom
Okay.
line, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, Tia's. I mean, here's the thing. Like I've seen it where we walked in and like we had it. You know, I had it at a wedding where I was in Jensen Beach with Tia and she was the makeup artist there. There was a very large bridal party. You know, I think there was at least 13 girls. I think I'm not 100% certain, but you know, Tia was hired to basically do the bride, and she basically killed the bride. But you know, what the bride did is the bride set up where she had other makeup artists in a whole nother room. Yeah, and you know, Tia can tell you that it was a lot of people, but it worked because the system in place worked. You know, but if you don't have a system, and that's another thing, guys. Mel, you said it. Separate the bride. It's not about anybody else that day. Give the bride the peace of mind, because I have seen bridemaidzillas. Yeah, that's the name. Bridemaidzillas. Bridemaids. And I'm like, yo, wait. This it's not. And I'm that guy. Like Tia can tell you, she was there. I'm that guy. I'm like, yo, you can't. This day isn't about you. I'm sorry. You know. And I told my bride, I was like, listen, if we want this to be successful, if we want this to go smooth, it needs to be about you and any you. We need to kick everybody out the room, which is what the planner and I said, and the bride needs to be here. When I need them back, I'll bring them back to set up those shots that we need. But for now, I need y'all to go. I don't care where y'all go, but y'all just need to go next door, and that was it. And that was the thing about it, you know, like you have to have that communication. And the reason you need that experienced photographer, videographer, is because an inexperienced videographer is not going to know that. And I'll tell another quick story. Mel, I walked into a wedding that I was shooting, and these are my people. God knows I'm not talking about Haitian people. I am a sac passe, okay? I'm a sac passe. I'm a not boule. This is me. I'm talking what I know. So I walked into the room, and it was a small room, right? It was a hotel. It was split up, so it had space. We walked in. They had, and I'm not speaking bad. I'm just telling you what I saw. They had a tray of rice, like a big plateau. That's what we call it, of rice. Rice, griot, which is fried pork. They had them there, and all that food is there. And the problem is, if you go in and you're not experienced as a photographer, you're going to shoot all that crap. You're going to shoot griot. You're going to shoot rice. You're going to, like, that's crazy. But if you experience, you tell them, hey, listen, we need to move all this food over the other side of the room, and we need to shoot. And I saw it. I saw where basically, like, I've seen it. I've seen where somebody got their gallery and they had rubbish in there. Like I walk into rooms and the rooms are a mess. But the key is I will shoot that room as if it's like, God damn, like where was this room? Because you need to separate everybody. Like I will disorganize, dysfunction, redesign. I will do that in a room because I'm an end result type of person. I ask for forgiveness after the fact, but I need to get what I need so that the client can be happy, because the client's not going to want pictures with chicken and rice and all that stuff. They're not going to want that. They're going to ask me what I was doing. I'm like, yo, I'm shooting what you gave me. But if you experience, you don't have to worry about that, you know?
Yes, I agree with you. It's good because when I work with, especially hotels that I work with, one of the key things that I request is that my bride has their own suite, and then I have a getting ready room for the bridal party for hair and makeup. Especially when I work at the W Hotel. We get like a whole banquet room, like a getting ready room that is huge, that can accommodate the bridal party, the hairstylists, the makeup artists. And then you have the bride suite that is pretty ready for the photographer to come in, take shots of the bride's dress, her shoes. If there's a balcony or anything, he has that option to go out there and do his thing. We as planners gotta make sure that we're getting that information out there to these clients that you need to have a prep space for your makeup artist.
Absolutely.
You have a separate space for when the photographer coming is ready to capture the dress, the shoes, and everything, and the bride. We need separation from the bridal party sometimes.
You do. Because like I said, you know, you have,
It's crazy because sometimes you have the Zillas, and I'm telling you, I've had Zillas. I've had it where before the wedding even day come, bridesmaids are falling off the list.
Yeah.
Because they just don't know the part. I'm serious.
I'm okay with that though. You know, I'm okay with that because again, I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, and Travis hit on it yesterday, it's not about anybody else but the bride and groom. No one else
Yes.
matters. And like and you know, like, and I'm not just talking. I promise you. Like I said, I've had it where it was like, yo, I'm going to tell the family, hey, listen, I need y'all to back up. I need y'all to chill. I need y'all to do this. No, you can't have access to the bride right now because we need to get this done. Because
Yes.
your stress level is stressing the bride out. And if I
Yes.
allow that, like, I'll tell you a perfect example. Like Tia, her energy is crazy. Her energy is
Yes.
like amazing.
Yes.
But that day when I noticed her energy was super low because it was the stress level. So that's when the hype man in me had to come out and be like, yo, let me get this bride back up. And
Right.
that worked out. But I mean, it worked out well. You know, everything turned out beautiful. It really did. It's just that, again, if you don't have the right people in place to do the right things, you're setting yourself up because an inexperienced person will not know what to do. They'll sit there and freeze and just shoot everything and anything, you know, because you don't know what you don't know.
What do you love the most about photographing weddings?
You know, what I love most about photographing weddings, like for me, like this is going to sound cliche, but I love love, right? I really do.
Yes.
And I love like the aspects. So the way I approach it is this, you know, the aspects of walking into a room and talking to the groom and be like, hey, you know, how, like if I walk into the room and I've never met the bride and I've never met the groom on that day, they hired me through the planner. We've spoken a few times, but I really don't know them. They fill out the questionnaire, but I still go back and be like, hey, tell me about your day. Tell me how you guys met. You know, I love getting to know the client. And then on the day of the wedding, I love incorporating their style into the shoot. You know, so if I know a guy is really swaggy, he's into like a lot of high fashion stuff, then I'm going to shoot him like a real high fashion model. Granted, I'm going to do that for all my grooms, but because I know that's his go-to thing, I'm going to really focus and hone in on that and really get that from him. I'm going to shoot his shoes as if they're like, you know, some really great pairs of Ferragamos or some really great pairs of Giuseppe's, you know, some really high-end stuff. I'm going to shoot her stuff, her accessories, as if it's like, oh my God, this is something from Tiffany's or this was some real high-end stuff. I love just basically being able to take all those things and stitch and put a story together, you know? So now they look at it and be like, damn, this was shot with love and it was shot as if you really cared about these little, you know, intangible items, you know?
Yeah.
So that to me matters.
Enchanted by charisma. What is your advice if the planner messed up a seating arrangement for over 300 guests?
So this is for you, Mel, or for me?
I'm trying to figure out. You want me to answer that? Or you,
Well,
you like Jules can't say?
So I'll tell you this, and here's the thing, right? So here's the biggest thing. It's 300 people.
Yeah.
It's 300 people. Who gives a crap where people sit? Like we're there for two people, the bride and the groom, and that's it. So I don't care if Uncle Joe is not at the table with Aunt May. Like, I don't care about. At the end of the day, guys, and this goes back to what we said. Put your pride behind you because it's not about you. Don't make a big deal. It's 300. You got a seat. You got food. Who cares who you sit to? We're family now, right?
Okay, so she want me to answer it. So here's my take on 300 guests because I've done weddings with the 300 guests and 200.
A lot, yeah.
It's a lot. Here's the thing that you guys have to understand. Having a proper seating chart is number one.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely got to work together to get the seating chart done and make sure that either we're doing it by table or alphabetical order. Number one. When it comes to place cards, when you do 300 guests, forget about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards.
It's a lot of cards. Here's the thing with Haitian culture. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Oh no, there's no offense taken.
No offense taken.
I know my people.
Young people will
They're
come.
crazy. And bring 10 people. They want to bring the neighbor from the church. They want to bring brother Isaac, brother Jean Baptiste.
Young people will come to an event without RSVPing, and then when their name is not on the list, and you tell them to step to the side, they're mad.
Yes.
Then you gotta tend to them and kind of wait until everybody else is seated in order for you accommodating them. Now,
and then they're really mad.
Guys, to stress this to your people. You
Yeah.
need to stress to your people, if you are not on the list, we ain't getting you in. And you guys just have to stick to that, because we have had situations where we don't have seats. We don't have the space to accommodate it. And we have to be pulling pulling out tables. Listen, I don't do the mess.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. And then I'll be honest with you, like,
good, people. It
and
doesn't.
and
You have
I
to let
don't.
your people know that
Yeah.
when you are RSVPing, RSVP is crucial. This is the purpose of RSVPing to a wedding. Make
Yeah.
sure that it's you. If it's only you, don't bring your child, don't bring your cousin, don't bring your next auntie.
And don't be late.
And don't be late. Thank you.
Don't be late. Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, when it comes to ceremony and the ceremony starts and the bride is walking down the aisle, I'm sorry, people, the door is closed. You're gonna wait.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You in. You are
Absolutely.
not to be walking into a seat while the ceremony is going on. Period.
Yeah.
It don't work. I don't do that. So that's something that I definitely enforce, and my team
I love
enforce.
I love this. I love this question by I don't want to kill your name.
That's Daphne. That's one of my brides. Let me what she said.
Daphne says, "Have you ever shot a wedding where you didn't see love?" Yeah.
In the room?
In the room. So, I shot a wedding years ago where the gentleman was very well off, extremely well off. Like, he was very well off. But he was about, I don't want to tell too much detail, but I saw it. But, you know, that's not, but let me tell you this. What I feel may not be what the bride and groom feels, right?
That's true.
Just because I thought that they were not in love, his love language may not be a PDA type of guy, or his love language may not be very outwardly expressed, but she knows and he knows how to speak to her love language. So for them, it worked. So my interpretation of how love should be displayed, you know, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, as long as she knows it, then that's it. You know, but I have walked into a room where I thought I didn't feel it, but in the end, I could have been 100% wrong, only because their love language could have been completely different than what I was expecting. So it worked, and they're still happily married. So
I had a situation like that where I saw a glimpse, and people always say to me, Mel, do you give advice? And to be honest, I become like a psychiatrist to my brides, because they tend to come to me and then they want to express what they're feeling and venting and so on, and I'm open to it and so on, but I always give the comment in saying that it's something where you two need to have a discussion.
Absolutely.
Understand? It all boils down to you guys sitting down and having a real conversation if you're feeling as if the love is not there.
Correct.
Before you take that leap. Love and marriage is sacred, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And marriage should not be something to feel like, oh, I just want to be married. It's not something to toy with. And when I sit with my bride, and that's the only reason why I do consultation first before I even send out my packages, people. I gotta meet you.
Yeah.
And the only reason for it is that I gotta feel the love between you and your fiance in front of me. I always say, if I meet the bride the first time, I need a second consultation with you and your fiance. I need to make sure that both of you guys are on the same page. Hi, David. Like, boom. Perfect example. David and Jessica, perfect couple. I married them last year. Beautiful couple. You know, they came to me on a whim where they were about to go through like a disaster fall with different vendors, and they were doing it on their own. And it's something where you as a planner also need to be able to not say you're giving them information on how to live their life or how their love life should be, but encourage them during the time of what they need to be doing. Because sometimes we sit back too much and see things happen, and then when you hear that the marriage didn't last, you wonder, oh my God, you know, you saw it, but you never really said anything. Was there something that you could have encouraged them to do that could have said something differently? And you're not trying to be the you know, the, how do you say, the marriage counselor, whatever for them. But sometimes it's good to just give an advice. And that advice, they can take it or leave it. It's up to you.
And Daphne, you're right. I mean, sometimes it is a show. You know, like there are certain cultures where basically things are arranged. And those things happen. And I've seen them spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. And those people are still together because they're like, okay, this is part of the culture. It's for the culture. It's for the greater cause. So that happens, you know. At the end of the day, I just look at it, hey, I'm here to do a job, and I'm going to do the best that I can with it, you know. So Look, wait, I heard somebody about a first look. Wait a minute. Yeah,
Okay, I see.
that's
That's Stephanie. That's one of mine.
yeah,
Yep.
Stephanie, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think, yeah, because the first look, like I said, man, it gets rid of a lot of questions. And then the other thing, that first look too, it forces people to be on time, because the first look say, hey, we're going to do a first look at 3 o'clock. Everybody needs to be here at 3 o'clock. While I'm doing the first look, I'm staging the family somewhere else where we're going to do the portraits.
Right.
Once that first look is done, then we basically get those portraits out the way. Then we go in. Now, the bride and groom may want some pictures under the arch and stuff like that, which we'll do. But the first look gives you so much time. And if you're happy with all the pictures you got, then at that point, you can enjoy cocktail hour and everything can just flow. You can interact with people. Because one of the things that we fight with as photographers is right after the wedding, I have the conversation with my clients and I tell them, hey, immediately after walking down the aisle, don't speak to anyone. Wave, hi, stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep it moving, because what happens is the minute somebody pulls you away, then what starts to happen is it eats into the time where we're going to basically do those portraits. So it's important for us to beeline straight into where we're going to go, get those portraits out the way, and that's it. And that's why.
It's about being a planner, because I'm telling you, my girls know as the bride and groom start walking down, no stops.
Don't stop. Keep it going.
Keep moving. Take
Absolutely.
them to the street, take them to wherever it is, and tell the photographer to follow behind us.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want
Absolutely.
to when it comes to photos. I need to get my room reveal shot out. I need to get all of these stuff done before
Absolutely.
it starts. So we
and that's a great point. You know, that's a really, really, really great point. I think, yes, somebody just asked, do I do engagement photos and the weddings too? Yes, I do engagement photos, weddings, portraits, branding photos, the whole spectrum. The things that I don't do any newborn stuff. I tried it with my daughter, and I nearly, I know. Like you have to be a very special person about, to do that, because you have to, it's a special touch. But all things photography, yes, I definitely do it. Yeah.
How far in advance, or what's the turnaround time for brides to get their photos back from you?
So what I basically typically do is, once the wedding is done, the day after, the bride will get a gallery. And again, it will be a gallery of photos that, I want them to post on social media. Like we said, you have to strike when the striking is hot. And once the striking is hot, you're good. One of the things after I do that, and again, same thing with me, I have a lot of things. I basically have an editor that I typically send stuff to. Everything that I post is basically professionally retouched, as far as like the stuff that's going to be, showed out. I don't want to display my work and, you're just sending in unedited pictures. So that'll go out. But typically after the day after the wedding, the client gets that gallery, and that gallery can have anywhere from like 20 to 30 pictures. And now keep in mind that 20 to 30 pictures is a mixture of the entire day. I may take like maybe 1 or 2 from the getting ready for the guy, 1 or 2 for the brides getting ready, a few 1 or 2 from the ceremony, then the portraits, and 1 or 2 from the reception. But then the bulk of those pictures is basically the decor shots, only because the bride, not the bride, but the planner, I want to make sure that the planner has stuff to have content to post for a while. Typically my turnaround day is about, 60 days. But, Travis lit a fire yesterday. I was like, God damn, Trav. I was like, yo. I was like, but let me tell you this. Here's the reality. And here's the reality, because the reality is, you shoot a wedding, and I have for photographers who are on here, we have a tool called Photo Mechanic. Photo Mechanic basically allows you to go through and select the pictures in like no time. Like you can go through and select all the pictures that you want to be part of the gallery. Like I do that the night after every wedding. So realistically, I go and I select the pictures, and basically whatever I shoot, I basically import all of those. From there, it typically would take me a day or 2 to go and edit the gallery. Now, there's a way, like, I send some stuff out to my editor as far as like to do any skin touch up and stuff like that the client requests. So that's typically what eases on time. But, realistically, like I said, like 7 to 14 days, it's realistic. And it is something that I'm looking at. I'm like, you can charge for that. You can charge accordingly, where it's like, yo, let me give you a whole gallery, and this is what you're paying for.
Yes.
Now, if you don't want your gold gallery in 7 to 14 days, then yes, it can be 60 days, and this is the rate for that. Because again, it's all about turnaround time. But I was like, yo, that is a really, I was like, man, that was really, really cool. I was like, damn it, Trav.
Listen, Travis be on it, man.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yo, I look at it like it's a beautiful business model. It's a beautiful business model. And what saves me, and I'll be 100%, what saves me is the fact that all my clients get that sneak peek gallery the day after.
Yes.
Because they're like, man, I'm good. You know, so working on those things 30 to 60 days, we're good. But 7 to 14 days, yeah, I'm making some revisions. Thank you, Travis. Nah, that's dope. That's really dope, though. That really is dope. That's a great thing. I'm just going to tweak it to make it work for me.
Also share is editing of photos.
Yes. Yeah.
How important that is, especially for the new photographers out here that are getting into the wedding scene. How important that is for us as planners and as for the clients too, what they to look for.
Yeah, so I think so here's the thing, right? Your portfolio, your website is your body of work, is what people refer to. And I'll tell you, you know, like most of these, let's say Instagram models and most of these people, when you see them in real life, you're seeing a different person. Yeah. You know, if you catch my point, because that picture you see online is not a picture that's there. I mean, perfect example, I think Kim Kardashian's mom posted a picture today, and she posted a picture, and I was like, man, this doesn't look anything like her. And then I went and looked at a video, and it's completely different. So for me, editing is critical. Like, I don't try to basically change the way the entire bride look. Hey, Roxanne, how are you? But what I basically do is I will go and I'll remove any blemishes, you know, and that's it. But before I remove something critical, I do ask the bride, you know, do you want me to basically touch that up? Now, I've had, and this is kind of crazy, I've had a bride who basically was missing a tooth. She was missing this tooth right here.
Yeah.
She was missing a tooth. So
I'm done. I'm done. You didn't
so I didn't know what I was doing, right? I shouldn't have, because there was 300 pictures with that same angle, right? So I gave her the tooth, you know, and she was like, Greg, can you do that for all the other 300 pictures?
God.
And I was just getting started at this time, you know. I was like, this was years ago, and I was like, yeah, I guess, you know. And at that time, I didn't know about editors, and I didn't know about any of this thing, you know. I didn't, you know, but it was extremely time consuming, because you had to go through Photoshop and you had to do this for one tooth at a time. It was insanity. But I don't put anything out that's basically not edited. Now, the other thing that I basically would do too as well, there's levels to edit it. You know, the levels are this. When you basically get your gallery, like your gallery will be edited where basically all the lighting will be superb, everything will be flushed. But the other thing that you have to think about too, if there's like crazy blemishes on, let's say 700 pictures that you receive, like I'm not going to go through and remove that on all those pictures. That's not what it is. What I typically do in my contract, and it basically has it there, that you have a handful of pictures that will be edited professionally like that, where you'll be flawless, you'll be gorgeous, you'll be you, but you'll be flawless. Now, if you want to select any other pictures and you want to get those done, absolutely, we can get them done. But the pictures will be edited to the point where everything is there. You know, I'm not going to put anything out that's not right. You know, I'm going to give you the best angles of my bride and everything else. You know.
Somebody asked a question, and I want to get back to her because
I think it was Carnisha. I think she asked about an angle or something.
Yeah. So, what are some good angles for a bride to pose if she's conscious about her weight?
So let me tell you something. Angles, it's all about angles. You know, like one of the things I'll tell photographers, and that's one of the things too, is try not to shoot anybody like head on flat, you know, just square. Okay. You know, try not to shoot somebody where it's like just head on, you know, flat, just like that. That's crazy. You know, you can just basically have that bride, you know, so let's say for instance, there's a wall here and then, you know, the windows in front of them. You can just have basically them turn, you know, just turning that body just a little bit. It contorts everything. Bringing the hand up high on the waist, it basically, you know, bring things in. You know, there's a whole bunch of different things. It's all about angling, and it's all about the way you pose them. I mean, I can't talk you through it, but I can definitely show you in some of the images. But it's all about angling. You know, like you'll see a girl take a cell phone, she'll take a cell phone picture, and it's like boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, yo, what who are you? You know, but it was just all really amazing angles, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what a professional photographer would know, you know.
Listen, girl, I was in your boat. I don't know if you were on here on Tuesday and you
Mm-hmm.
saw my life journey when I was like, you
Wow.
understand?
Wow.
I was there. And
Wow.
when I mean, like, I was cautious about even standing in front of the media and doing
Mm-hmm.
interviews because I was just like scared that how the camera was going to capture me and, you know, all the different angles. So for me, I always tell people, catch me from here up, like, or
Wow.
down here, you know, because I was so
Yeah.
conscious
Yeah.
about, you know, my body at the time. So,
Absolutely.
you know, when you have a photographer that definitely knows how to position you, and
Oh,
so
it changes
that's
things.
something that I love about you guys,
Yeah.
especially when I'm working with like Dominique, Reed,
Yeah.
Travis, and so on.
Yeah.
They definitely know how to angle you in
Absolutely.
a way where, you know, you hide all of those little flaws, conscious
Absolutely.
you may have.
And it's just a slip turn, you know.
It's just a slip turn.
Slight adjustment. Yeah, slight adjustments change everything. And one of the things that a planner here, Kia, said, and this is true, you know, if you are like they have the curvy brides. If you are a curvier bride, then what's important is get a gown that's fitted and that's flattering.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to basically get a gown like if you have, you know, like the little thing under here, under your tricep. If you have a little bit of hang skin under your arm, you don't want to get a gown that basically cuts here and basically exposes the whole arm. You want to basically maybe get something that's sheer that covers that, because there's a lot of lifting that you have to think about. You know, those things really makes a difference. You know.
I'm gonna give y'all a story. When I first moved to Florida, one of my first, not one first, like I think it was the third wedding I did when we Florida opened up our third location here. I met a bride, very heavy chested, and she booked me before, you know, because I love to go dress shopping with my bride. My brides will tell you.
That's a good thing.
I love to dress shopping with them. I gotta see how the dress fits you, all that stuff. If any of my brides are on here, they'll tell you I'm the one that picked their dress. Every time I pick a dress, it's the one they go with. Ask Rashawn Rose. She'll tell you.
I love Rashawn. It's dope. Yeah.
I'm all about, because, you know, I've been in the fashion industry. I was a designer before I came to the production and all that. So I'm always about making sure a dress fits your body.
Your body, absolutely.
Petite. When my bridesmaids are sending me dresses for their bridal party too, and I said, what's the size of the different girls? I need to see all the girls. Because not every dress complements every shape,
everybody,
every figure.
That's
you
a
don't
fact.
want somebody to put on a dress and feel uncomfortable the whole night. You want to feel comfortable in that dress. When I tell you that the dress, like the whole time people keep on talking to me about Mel, the chest, the chest, the chest. It's not cool. Like you throughout the whole wedding, you gotta keep on.
You constantly adjusting.
And constantly doing this
adjusting.
Yourself. You're not feeling right. You can't sit down properly. You know, you want to make sure when you get your dress and you go dress shopping, and thank God Rashawn Rose will be on here on Monday, so we'll talk about this. But when you go, couple things to do, girls, when you're picking your dress. Sit down in the dress. Number one. That's a big thing.
That's a big thing people don't think about.
In the dress.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get the dress altered and so forth like that, and it's so tight that you can't even sit. You're like this at your table, and you
can't breathe.
Sit up or anything. You can't breathe.
Then you need a second dress for the reception.
Yeah, I want you to be snatched to the gods, but not snatched to the point where you look like you're suffocating now.
Yeah.
That's
and pictures and the pictures will show that.
It will show it in the pictures.
Yeah.
The other thing too, if you're somebody that wants like the open back features and all that stuff, you got to talk about things that really complements your body first.
Absolutely.
And it's important, guys, that you definitely, when you're looking for these dresses, look for things that fits your body type.
Your body,
everything goes for everyone.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yep.
All right.
I think one of our guests asked, what about hiring a photographer on Instagram based on their Instagram work? And you know, I told people there's two answers to that. You know, like we as artists, we are going to post our best things on Instagram. Instagram allow you to post up to like 10 squares, you know, 10 photos in a square, you know, so you have 10 photos, and if, you know, or sometimes you post one. And that's one thing I would tell you, like never make a decision based on what you see, you know, make a decision on doing deeper research and reach out to that photographer and ask for a gallery. Don't be afraid to do that, you know, because at the end of the day, Like, what's that going to hard? He's either going to say, nope, I ain't got it, or basically all my work's on Instagram. All your work is not on Instagram. We're not posting a lot of the detail and the core and the bridal prep. We're not posting a lot of those things. We're posting things that appeal, things that we feel that appeal to people. So the only thing that's going to tell that is a full gallery, you know. So look at the gallery, see what's what, you know. So I don't do it. Like, I don't believe it, because I tell you, and I tell people all the time, if you base the person I am on Instagram, you're going to think, oh my God, this guy's so motivational. He's so inspirational. I'm crazy as hell, you know. You know, so people tell you people will show you what they want you to believe. And that's what Instagram is. It's a great marketing tool, but don't let that be your only decision-making factor. Exactly. Go with your planner, see what your planner has to say, go with and ask for the gallery, see what the gallery looks like. And that's what's going to make you determine, you know, hey, if it works or not.
Agreed. And that's one of the key questions that you guys should be asking when you reach out to a photographer. Do you have a portfolio? Can I see some of your past wedding?
Please see it. Please see it.
Can we see a gallery with everything? I just don't want to go off of, because Brian asked me that too, and I said, yo, those galleries are awesome.
Yeah, because you've seen them. You've seen them. Yeah.
Galleries. You may go on my website. You may see a few pictures. You may go on my Instagram, but I want to be able to show you a full gallery of the work that you can
absolutely
get an idea of what you're getting.
Absolutely.
So definitely got to ask these questions, people, and so on. Because I know we're about to wrap up, but here's some of the things that I want to make sure that you, as newly engaged on here, are asking photographer. Do your personality, you know, really do a checklist within yourself. Yeah. These are things you should ask. Yeah. Do your personality jive? Would you be comfortable grabbing drinks with this photographer? If I can come in, and Travis said it yesterday, walk in a room, and I'm like, hey, Travis, that means you got the right photographer.
Absolutely.
If you walk in the room and you're like, hey, the photographer is here, that means you're confident. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And kids say, ask for reviews. Yeah. Ask for reviews, people. Ask for reviews. Let me tell you something, man. Reviews don't lie. Ask for these things. Reviews don't lie. You know? So are you, and then the other thing is, do you feel a connection with his or her photos? We've talked about style. The photographer's style of work and everything. Making sure that that fits your style that you want for your wedding. These are some of the things you gotta definitely keep a key eye on, people, when you're looking for. Then the other thing is, did the photographer listen well and address all of your concerns and questions? Absolutely. 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 You can tell if a photographer is really listening to when you're on a phone consultation. Yep. The way he responds to your question, the advice he gives you, all the feedback and reference he's going to give you back will tell you that he really connected with you and he really understands where you're concerned. Yeah, and some of his answers are going to be basically what you guys spoke about before, because you're not just talking to be ready to respond. You're talking and you're listening to basically be able to provide provision, just really positive feedback, or some feedback that's going to be really useful. Right. That's important, not just because that's the other thing too, is like, I think a lot of times people forget that photographers have a lot of insight on a lot of different things. Like, we've shot at a lot of venues, we've worked with a lot of planners, we have a lot of resources, so it's important that if that person is willing to share these things with you as you're going through the process, those are some of the things you'd be like, damn, why is he telling me this? Because I mean, it costs me nothing to do it, So before you go, Greg, any advice or any last comments you want to give to the newly engaged, those new photographers? Give them a few words before we wrap up. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this, like, all the newly engaged couples, first and foremost, congratulations. Secondly, take this quarantine time to, I look at it like this. This quarantine time has been a time to basically really test your love. How much more do you appreciate your hubby or your wifey based on all this time that you've been spending with each other? Take some time to really talk about what things are key and what things are important for what you must have at your wedding, whether it be that great photographer, whether it be the great planner, all these great things. List these must have, get these things out the way now, because again, when life gets busy again and it starts rolling, you may not have as much time as you have now to do it. And the other thing, guys, take care of your mental health, your personal health. I know a lot of us are out of work. A lot of us are basically, some people suffer with depression and all these different things. Just reach out to those who care about you. Check up on those people. Talk to them. Just make sure that they're good, because again, especially our strong friends, those who are always there for others, it's critical to make sure that you basically talk to them to make sure
that you're good. And also check on the vendors, like the vendors that aren't working, please, you know, like brides and grooms, check on them. You know, hey, how are you? How's everything's going? Because our blood, like our clients are our bloodline. You know, like this is it. You know, without you guys, then it's like, you know, it's kind of tough. And brides and groom, like you said, vet your vendors. Listen to your planner. And if you are not happy with your planner's recommendation, then still listen to your planner based on the gallery and the review that the other photographer that they're basically showing to you, to make sure that because your planner has an eye that you don't particularly see. You know, they are looking for certain key things that's going to help tell your story. So it's very important that you listen to that person, because that person has been doing this for years. You know, like they come from a fashion background, so they understand certain things. So definitely listen to your planner. Take that advice, because they have your best interest in mind. If you paid money to hire them, take their advice, take their opinion. Yeah, just listen. You know, what I tell my kids all the time, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth.
There you go.
Listen more, speak less, you know. But yeah, but then, you know, that's it. And then to new photographers, guys, like I said, there's no shame. And even seasoned photographers who basically have been doing it for years and who know that their lighting is not strong, or who know that basically they have some areas that they struggle in. There's no shame in basically learning from someone else who's been doing it. Just because that person started after you, that doesn't mean anything.
No.
We've seen it where basically a student basically came and basically now is better than the master, because some people just get it. Some people just have it. You know, so just be humble, put yourself on the back burner, make it about your business, make it about growth, and make it about basically presenting the best you possible. Because your work and your past work and what your clients' planners think of you matters a lot, because your planner will tell you you're not going with that photographer because they screwed me, and you need to go with this other person because I don't trust their work. But if you open up and be like, hey, you know what? I want to learn. I want to do this. Give me an opportunity. Let me go do what I got to do. Do that. Take an opportunity. Be humble enough to go and learn from somebody else who's doing it better. Inbox us. You got me, you got Travis, you got Stan, you got Reem, you got a whole bunch of photographers in South Florida that you can reach out to that's been really doing it. And I don't have an issue responding. I don't have an issue talking to you. Not at all. I lose nothing doing it.
100%, because you got to be open to feedback, people. That's one of the things that I have learned in this industry for the past 20 years. Feedback is crucial, because that's the only way you're going to learn. And if you're not open to feedback, people, you will fail in this business.
Like, how do you get better? How do you get better?
How do you get better?
And how do I know I wasn't doing something right? Like, you think you know. How do you know? Because I saw it and I'm like, nah, this is not what I hired. This is not what I wanted. You know? So take that feedback. Like, forget your pride. Like, I'm telling you, like I said, there are some really high-end planners out there that will be like, oh, no, that's not who you're going with. Fire them, hire somebody else. I have seen it.
I've done it once.
I've seen it.
I'm sorry, but I had to, because.
But you shouldn't be sorry about that. You shouldn't be.
No, I'm just saying, because I say sorry to them that I said it. But I'm just saying I had to, because the quality was just not there, people. And for me, if I know exactly what you guys are looking for and the quality of work that we're going to be presenting, and I'm also not just thinking about you guys, I'm also thinking about the vendors, what they're looking for after the event. We have to direct you in the right direction to what will give you the quality of work that we say. Travis says it better than anybody else. Quality is key, people. You can't put a price on quality.
You can't.
You cannot.
You can't.
Thank you, my love. I appreciate you guys. But I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being on the show. Jules, you've been amazing.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you. Thank you.
This platform has been such a blessing to all of us. I mean,
absolutely.
Just to get advice and feedback from each and every one of us as small vendors out here in this industry to share in this time as well. And we want to continue this after the whole quarantine as well.
This is powerful.
Continue to educate and give all this information out there, because these brides are getting engaged, but they really don't know what it takes to really plan a wedding and what to really look for. And when we're able to come on here and share these information, it gives them comfort. It gives them security to know that they can go out there and reach out to us and also get the information that they need. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys that have been chiming in for these past couple of weeks. We got more big hitters coming on here every week. Trust me, we've been sending them out. I know I'm looking at some schedule changes, But we know you guys are out there. We want to bring you guys on here as well and make you guys give us the information that we need.
Absolutely.
We want you guys to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're missing the weeks prior with all the vendors, go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Live with Mel. You can watch all the different videos from all the amazing vendors, Hair Chemistry, Travis, Reem, Sandra, Flores. Everybody has been on the show for the past couple of weeks. Some DJs. We've got some great makeup artists, Angel of Beauty. Go back and watch those shows. Get the information that you need to really reach out to them. Reach out to Jules, people. Jules, I'm telling you, it's coming.
Thank you.
I'm telling you.
Thank you. Listen, I believe in the power of words, and I already know. Like, and what's crazy about it is, like, we were aligned well before you even knew it, because Mimi, Lux Cakery, like, spoke about you, and I was like, because that's what's so funny, because Dom and I go way back. Like, Dom, I love Dom. You know, like, Dom and I go back. Like, that's how I started working with Suzanne Delaware. You know, like, I shoot with them from time to time. And Dom, so Dom and I go way back, because like we had common friends where she dated, like, her fiance's brother was a good friend. Like, I was friends with his brother. So we didn't know each other, and she was the one that referred me over to Suzanne Delaware. So I second shoot with them from time to time.
Winston and Susan is the best.
I love them. I love them. I was talking to Susie just last week, you know, but it was the same thing where with you, like, you know, Mimi has always been talking about Mel, and I was like, okay, cool. And then when Dom connected you, I was like, yo, that's dope. That's real dope. You know, so it was just a matter of time. I think that's what it is. You know, at the end of the day, you got to stay ready. You know, so that's why I'm always ready. I know the right clients are going to come where it's going to align us. We're going to work, and then, you know, you're going to get that good work as you've been used to.
I appreciate you guys, and I love everything that you guys do. I appreciate all my vendors for always doing 150 and better. You guys are always Jules, congratulations as well. I see you out there when you get the nominations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Out here. I see you.
Thank you.
Guys, so definitely stay tuned for next week. Monday, we come back with Rashawn Rose. Then we have you, Alexander Beauty Bar. And then we also will be coming back with Elite Events by Tawanda, one of our wedding planners out here in South Florida. You can definitely get some information from her as well. We're going to be bringing on Savvy Shots, and we got Bricks Media coming up in here. So trust me, we got all the
Bricks, my guy.
Coming on here.
My guy.
We definitely share the information with you guys. We definitely want to make sure that we're touching each and every part of the industry. So you guys are able to get all the information needed, get educated, get informed, and get it out there to come out and book us. Guys, it's the time to book. Reach out, book your vendors.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we thank you, Jules. I'm not going to keep you guys on here any longer. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you. Absolutely for having me.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
It was a great show today.
Absolutely.
Jules, you beat Travis by like 15 minutes.
Listen, I was sweating bullets. I was like, is he coming back? Oh, God, he's coming back. But it was really, 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 really good. And that's what it's about, you know, and that's the thing I like. Like, and that's why I appreciate people like him and people like my man Stanley. Like, it's not about being like closed and guarded with information. Like he's secure in his. Trav has a client. Trav has a look. And those clients that want that look, they're going to book him. And that's dope. Those clients that want my man Stan's look, they're going to book him. Those clients that want Dom's look, they're going to book her. So that's why I don't, like, we have millions of people here. Like, I don't have that, oh my God, like, no, that's crazy, man. Listen, that's my philosophy. So I appreciate, like, just the openness. And it was real, like, yesterday was dope. And, you know, today I just wanted to be me, and he really bought it. So it was encouraging. Like, I was able to pick up a lot of great things that he's doing. I was like, yo, I got to definitely do this, because it changes the dynamics of things. And then you can, you know, it helps.
Yes, it definitely helps. It helps for us to learn from each other, because people would say, like, Mel, I said, no, I want some event planners on the show, because we got to guide people. We got to be able to inform these brides that are on here, go back and forth, you know? We can't be like, oh, Mel is doing her thing, Tika doing her thing, Tawanda doing her thing. You know, we got to be like, listen.
Let me tell you.
We are some of the top wedding planners out here in South Florida. We got the information information in the detail.
Facts.
We're gonna come out here and we're gonna make sure that they're informed, they're
You know,
educated, they know exactly what they're getting into. Understand? And what to look for. Because if I may come to me and say, "Oh, do you dare coordination?" I don't.
Yeah.
I don't do the last minute thing, people. I do months and full wedding plan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People doing total different things.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of like you guys learning what to really ask and make sure you get all the information that you need. And that's all it is.
And Mel, the bigger thing too that you don't even understand that's happening right now is when creatives, photographers, videographers, designers, planners, when we come together and we basically are on the platform where we're speaking and we have cohesiveness with prices and everything, do you know how much stronger we are?
I'm telling you.
Like, you don't even understand. Like, when you say, hey, this is my price point, my starting point is 5K, and the other photographer, my starting point is 5K, then you understand as a bride, you know, okay, well, I know this is what's going to be the thing. And when somebody comes at you and be like, oh, I'm going to, my starting point is 1,200, I'm not knocking it. I'm definitely not knocking it. But what it will tell you is that basically that person's skill set, it's a little bit different. Or that person may be new into the industry. That's why they do it. Doesn't mean that that person isn't good, but it's just one of those things when you have these standards and you have a cohesiveness of all the vendors.
Yes.
Like, you don't even understand what it does for the market. And that's the thing I think it does.
It does a huge thing for the market, people.
It balances it, man.
Understand how business and how these things work.
Yep.
It's something where you guys have to understand when one go and say, hey, I'm offering this at XYZ, and the other person come to you and you know your quality of your work. Don't down the quality of your work, people.
Don't do it. Absolutely not.
Accommodate. Because when you do that, you're pretty much telling people that you really don't trust the work that you do.
Facts.
I'm sorry. If you can't afford me, that means you ain't meant to have me.
And that's okay. That's okay. Just don't beat up my prices now. You know, like oh no, I'm not. I can walk away. It's okay. Every client isn't your client, and that's it.
And if I choose to work out a deal with you, it's because I felt a connection, and that
absolutely
is my choice.
Absolutely.
But it's not something that I would do for everyone.
Absolutely.
Understand? So it's just a matter of that connection you have with your client and the planner. You guys have to understand, like when you come out there, you can't expect for the $1,200 planner to come and say, oh, the $5,000 or the $10,000 planner, or the person that doesn't do by flat rate, do percentage, is going to come and say, well, I'm going to go down and bring you the pen just to get you.
Nope. And that's a whole nother plan that people don't even understand yet. That percentage.
100%.
People don't even understand it. Like that's.
They don't understand it.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
So you gotta understand this stuff, people. Like, it's a difference out here. We just gotta let people understand there's different levels to this game.
There is.
Different levels to this thing. And once we're very informative and we give that information, we all can come out successful in this business together.
Yep.
After this whole COVID-19 pass, trust me, we're going to come out here slaying.
Strong.
Man, Travis and I had something big coming up in the W on March. I'm telling you, I can't wait to go back into it.
That's what's up.
You know, it's like you come back and you look at these things and say, well, now it's time for me to revamp, adjust, add a little bit more, do something different. I'm taking the opportunity to even revamp the game because you have to take the time, people, to do that now. Don't sit back and say, okay.
You're not going to have it later. Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do it now.
Absolutely.
Right? So thank you guys. I know we can talk forever. I'm going to stop. But thank you guys for joining. I'll see you guys on next week, Monday.
See you Monday.
With Rashad Rose. Thank you all for joining Live with Mel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch those videos, people. Live with Mel on YouTube. Go and follow Jules right now. Make sure you want to give it by Jules. Reach out to him. Book his service, people. All right? Get the information now. It's time. You have been listening to an amazing platform of photographers out here this week. Definitely reach out to them and get the information that you need. All right? We appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much, Jules, again, for coming on the platform.
No worries. Thank you, Mel.
Yeah, you really took the cake for Travis. Travis, he took the trophy today.
Just for today. Take care, guys.